Ah, nature. Obviously my favorite place in the world. Surrounded by dirt, dangerous cliffs, and wild animals on the prowl. Somehow, Allie convinced me to go on an early January hike to Eaton Falls, Altadena. A hike she proclaimed would be tame, flat, relaxing. Boy, was she wrong. Even though this hike immediately took a turn for the wet and wild, it was actually super picturesque, somewhat challenging, and surprisingly fun. Is this the next LA hike for you to consider? Oh, and I know people say this a lot, but the end of this is pretty crazy, and no, I'm not just saying that so you stay till the end. I know you know how to use the scroll bar. The entrance opens to sweeping views of the San Gabriel Mountains, up close and intimidating. This is definitely the closest I've been to a proper mountain. It's a vista that gives you a taste of what LA looked like before humanity trampled the nature to lay asphalt, pour foundations, and make space for in-and-out lines. Whichever people first settled these lands, how did they not get to these mountains and not just say, nah, there's no way I'm going over that? Maybe it was their unyielding curiosity that pushed them to traverse these mountains, just as mine pushed me to even start this hike in 50-degree overcast weather. We opted for the trail that went down instead of up. This was, after all, the way to the waterfall. And after endless days of torrential rain, we had hoped the falls would be flowing. Before you really get on any trail, you have to cross this bridge that will be gravel the next time any significant earthquake hits. So if you're on it and you feel the ground moving, I would suggest running or praying. There's also this impressive towering slab of rock flanking it. It's pretty impressive. Give it a look in person, you'll be impressed too. The trail really seems to start down in this little valley beneath the bridge. What I imagine is usually a dry riverbed was converted into a full-on rushing stream. The falls must indeed be flowing. From here, it's basically just a matter of following the stream until you reach the end. Alright, that's the video. We kept all trails running, just so we could track our progress, which mostly consisted of me complaining every time I realized we were nowhere near the end. After about 5 minutes of walking, we realized something we weren't prepared for. There was no more trail on the side of the river that we were walking on. To keep moving forward, we'd have to cross the river. Neither of us were prepared to get wet, and it seemed like no one else on the trail was either, because everyone was trying to hop from rock to rock like the water was lava. I guess since it's LA, it's understandable. I mean, you can't get the Givenchy hiking moccasins wet. We, like everyone else, tried to rock hop, but we failed to stay dry. We got wet, and it was unpleasant, so we were cold and wet, and hoped we wouldn't have to cross any more water. Land, it would be our friend. But about 2 minutes later, the trail ended again, and we needed to cross the river again. This happened about 10 more times, so if you plan to do this hike after heavy rain, I'd recommend, I don't know, maybe don't. We continued on, following the same path that some glacier carved in a distant time, surrounded by the mountains that reverberated the sound of rushing water and the laughter of the trail's people. As frustrating as it initially was to have to wade through cold water, we eventually got over it, realizing we'd laugh about it later. We enjoyed the awe-inspiring scenery and the people watching. As amateur as we were, there were people far more unprepared than us. The best sights were the people carrying their dogs or their kids, as though any bit of moisture would cause them to disintegrate. About an hour in, we got to the final approach, the falls. We could hear the crashing of the water growing louder by the step until finally we saw it. Honestly, I'm not really one to be impressed by a stream of water cascading off a cliff into a pool of more water, but this was pretty cool. We even got a little surprise in the form of some rock climbers who were climbing down the waterfall. Yeah, down a waterfall. Yeah, I know, I've never heard of such a thing either. But we watched in awe as they somehow made their way down safely and Every inch of me squirmed with vicarious acrophobia. It was a painful few minutes for me. With the climbers safe on the ground, it was time to head back. This was when it dawned on me, we have to do the whole thing over, but in reverse. After about another hour, we finally made it back to our car. It felt like we'd dump out an ocean of water from our boots, but apparently all the water was just absorbed by the lining, so nothing came out. All in all, not gonna lie, it was a good day, and a worthwhile trail. One I would definitely recommend if you're in LA.
Allie, considering. Allie with her stick.
I'm trying to